All right, we are live. What is up, everybody? Aaron the Dog back with Brandon of MMA Wagers for the second breakdown of the week. It is the I just realized I forgot to make a banner, but it's a Bellator 287 breakdown show. Adam Piccolotti taking on Mansour Barnaoui in the main event. Very good main event, actually. And overall, an interesting card live from Milan, Italy. Got a few people in the chat. Haka there, Moise there, and a few others. Oh, Alex, appreciate all the pre-chat hype here. Yeah, this is an interesting card. 3 of the fights were added this morning, as far as I'm aware. So they are the first 3 fights we're covering, but was able to put in some tape on those. But yeah, well, as always, go over the fights in depth more so that we feel we have a read on, leave the ones less so. So we're not going to delay too much here. We got 18 fights. How are you, Brandon? You good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, let's get rocking and rolling here. This is the first time I'm aware of these first 3 fights. No betting lines yet, so we'll just go through
Yeah,
them quick. Go
exactly.
through them
So,
pretty quickly here.
yeah, we're going to go through them definitely quickly. Alex Bertonazzi taking on Eduardo Cayaza. Unfortunately, hard to know how to pronounce his name as there was very little tape on him. Bertonazzi, I am aware of because of one fight with George Tanaza on his record where he had a win, actually. So overall, I like that he's been at featherweight. I like he's faced very level of competition. I like that he has more experience here. Kazaya, from what I saw, just really didn't impress me. Mostly a karate point fighter from what I could find. So I would go with Alex in this fight, just from an official pick perspective, and I'd expect him to be the favorite.
Yeah, if we get betting lines, hopefully this card is early. It starts at 12:25 p.m. Eastern
Yep.
on Saturday. So, I agree with you. I got Alex as well. More experience, 3-1 as a professional. His opponent's only 1-0 as a professional. He's only he's been a pro since May 2022. So what is that? 5-6 months?
6 months. He's
Um,
a fellow 0-0 fighter. He got a quick knockout as an amateur, 4-1 as well. Mostly a
yeah,
knockout fighter.
48-second knockout. So yeah, Alex is my pick.
Yeah, I agree. All
And
right.
again, he's got a wrestling style. I like to see that.
Yep, he does have the wrestling style. Might have gotten a little confused here because Sharif Bapapa Pape is actually the karate style point fighter, so I apologize there.
Okay.
He is
Short
more
notice.
yeah, exactly. Short notice, 1-0, taking out Ayub Nassar here. Nassar looks like the legitimate prospect here. I think Nassar is going to take him down, expose the lack of a ground game that Sharif appears to have. Sharif's a point style karate fighter. I think Nassar will be a huge favorite. And Nassar's brother also fights. I like to see that. Better camp. So, yeah, Nassar should roll here.
Oh yeah, good to know that his brother fights as well. I always put that in my notes. So, and yeah, he's coming in short notice. Sharif only 1-0. He just turned pro last month, like literally a month and a half ago. I don't know what his background is. Did you say karate? Karate.
Yeah, he's literally, if you Google his name, you're going to find a bunch of karate, and he's a straight point style karate fighter.
Yeah. Ayab, I think will have a successful MMA debut here. And
Yeah,
he's young too, only 22, 3-0 as an amateur. I think he rolls here.
yeah, I agree, and it will probably be like a Luke Trainer level number here, which we'll get to Luke Trainer's fight shortly. But I definitely have some thoughts on that one. But
Okay.
yeah, it's at bantamweight here, so another bantamweight fight that was added last second here. This is of the 3 short notice fights, the one I'm most looking forward to. First of all, 8-6 versus 17-8, so at least you have some experience here. But also, I think they're pretty interestingly matched up here. So maybe they just got lucky. Bellator here with one of their late notice. But Percy Herrera taking on Luca Iovine here. Luca has been in Bellator before. He's kind of bounced around quite a bit out of ATT Rome. Now 34 years old is one of the first things that stands out to me. Definitely starting to get on the other end of his career, I'd say, at bantamweight. coming off a loss at Cage 55. He's lost 3 of his last 4. Actually, his only win coming against fellow experienced fighter in 25-10, Arik Maragirian. It was by a rear naked choke. Overall, you see a lot of losses since really taking the increased level of competition. Lost to Nathaniel Wood in 50 seconds. I do think he beat Chris Edwards. Went back and watched that fight. That was one of the few fights available to see. I do think he beat Chris Edwards, but it wasn't a good fight by any means.
One of those is a DQ loss as well.
Yep, a DQ loss with by an illegal knee there, but happened 34 seconds into the fight, so that's concerning. Stipe Brusik, a guy who we're familiar with from Cage Warriors, so he's faced a very good level of competition, but you see a ton of losses on here. The wins coming by mostly TKO, has a few submission wins as well. I do think that his best method to victory here is using the power on the feet, using his boxing, because I do think that's where Percy's been kind of hurt before. But one thing that was interesting going back and watching Percy Herrera is, first of all, very, very tall for the division. He's one of the longer guys for sure, and he does use the length at times, including in the grappling. Very good guillotine, 8-6. Get it? It's not a great record there. Coming off a loss to a 5-1 opponent in his last fight, it was a pretty competitive fight with Bellator. Before that, had a good right hook knockout, the decision, but 6-10 and 0-3. So just not a good level of competition. Got pretty beat up by Gaetano Perello, who did make an appearance in the UFC. Wasn't great, but it did show he kind of gets frozen a little bit when he gets hit pretty hard on the feet. He is tough, though. He doesn't go down. So, I could see kind of a standing TKO type of stoppage, because that is kind of just how Percy rolls here. But the fight that was interesting to me happened against Michel Martigoni back in the day. And it was the no contest here in 2017. It was on the regional scene. He had a guillotine choke locked in on Michel Martigoni, and that fight was over. Martigoni rolled out of the octagon, or out of the ring it was in. It was in a boxing ring. You can go onto YouTube, look up the fight about 13 minutes, 9 seconds in, be the judge for yourself. But we've seen how Michel Martigoni's looked. I get it was 5 years ago, but again, both these guys have been in with good levels of competition. And that no contest being a win, I think would make Percy a pretty sizable favorite. Now I'm curious to see the odds, because if Percy's an underdog or if this is close, I would consider Percy. I think it's Luca by TKO, or Percy's going to get the sub. If it goes to a decision, I think it's going to be a really good fight. Maybe I overhyped this fight. I might overhype this fight.
Yeah, I didn't realize you knew so much about this fight. I definitely won't have as much to say. I'm saying this is a flip a coin type of fight. Both untrustworthy, both making their Bellator debuts. We have a lot of Bellator debutants on this card. Percy 8-6, Luca 17-8. Percy has been knocked out 4 times, so that's worrying. Luca does have 4 knockouts, so he could definitely get the knockout. I would go Luca. If he's an underdog, I'm going to take Luca, but I could see Percy being like a -200 here.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how the odds stack out here. Both guys have good experience. Cage Warriors, ACB, Venator. I mean, both they got pretty lucky with of the 3. That's definitely the best of the short notice.
Absolutely, yeah. Percy had a rough start to his career as well, going 0-2. So.
Yep, exactly. So we'll see. Percy's still only 29 years old as well, so 5-6 years younger. Interesting fight. Now back to the circus. Cue it.
We got odds on these fights now.
We do have odds on these fights, and the odds on this one are absurd. But Denis Stosniak, yes, that Denis Stosniak, the one who got all bloodied up by my boy Stefan Struve back in the day in like early 2000s in the UFC. He's still fighting apparently. 15-3 now.
0-2 in the UFC in 2009.
Yep, heavyweight, now fighting at light heavyweight. 42 years old, Bosnia-Herzegovina. 6 foot tall versus the 6'1" opponent who has also fought at heavyweight. Both these guys making a weight cut here. It might be who prepared better for the weight cut, and everything like that. Zhang Li will put that money line parlay at the end, the 3-fight parlay. But Denis Stosniak is 42 years old, as I said, 6 foot tall, heavyweight. He's won 2 straight fights since making his great return from a 5-year layoff after beating Christian Mupumbo by knockout. There's a name. Beat a 1-3 Casper Mikkelitzes by guillotine choke in 50 seconds, and then beat 19-11 Ivo Cook in April, and that was also at heavyweight by ground and pound. It's overall on a pretty long win streak since losing to Stefan Struve, but they're against 0-0, 11-11, 2-1, 3-1, 1-7. No contest with Rico Rodriguez on the Bosnia-Herzegovina regional scene in 2013. Got to knock out Rico Rodriguez in Bosnia Fight Championships in 2015, aka that means nothing. Then back down to a 6-4 opponent. Got to knock out Christian Mpupu. I mean, this is just
you just like saying that name.
I mean, I like saying, and I've also liked making fun of his fights before. So, Oleg Popov here, 15-1. You want to know what his last win was against? Bigfoot
Antonio Silva.
Bigfoot Silva. So we're going from Bigfoot Silva to Denis Stosniak. What is this indeed, Kelly? I don't know.
Good management team.
Is it a good management team, or is it kind of I don't really know.
Easy wins.
Yeah, the Solorzano fight was an impressive win. I will say that. Pretty tough guy as well. But, yeah, overall, Oleg likes to take his opponents down, work the, like arm triangles and things like that. Once in a while, ground and pound. I mean, in this spot, I just think it's 2 heavyweights who are cutting down to 205 who are going to come forward, and one of them is going to go down. And it could be Oleg. It could be Dennis. Dennis can knock anybody at this level out at 205 even. He's never made 205. I got to go with Oleg, but the price is insane. So, pass.
Yeah, I got Oleg as well. The Russian, he's a lot younger here, 12 years younger. He's been a lot more active.
Took him till the second round to beat Bigfoot, just saying.
Yeah, but he was dominating the entire fight. Then 34 seconds into round 2.
But I'm just saying, you should be able to put away Bigfoot in 5 minutes, especially dominate. I don't know. That's why
I'm saying decision. Oleg Popov probably by decision here. Denis Stosniak has only been knocked out once to Cain Velasquez in his UFC debut. That's no treat being served to Cain Velasquez and then to Stefan Struve. Then he got his walking papers. That's his only knockout. He's lost by 1 knockout, 1 sub, 1 decision. So I'm going to say Oleg has 4 decisions, all unanimous. He's been more active. Dennis has only fought 3 times in 6 years. And he's won all 3, but the competition is very low. Yeah. The Bosnian is just old here. He's going to get a paycheck getting him Bellator. They're both making their Bellator debuts. I'll take the 15-1 Russian by a unanimous decision.
Yep, and if you'd like to bet on a Russian who's prone to decisions, you can get him for the cheap price of -700, plus 475 on Stosniak. There's nothing.
I'm going to see if there's a decision prop.
Yeah, if there's any props. I know Bellator is absolutely slow on props, though. So.
Especially the prelims.
Yeah, but yeah, either way, that's way priced out. Not even Dogger Pass. We're both on the favorite, but yeah, that's how
Popov. Where is he? Popov wins by decision plus 400. Holy shit!
Yeah, they're expecting the car crash. They're expecting the car crash that I broke down. I mean, can either of these guys, from a cardio perspective, make it 15 minutes? Especially Dennis, can he physically handle 15 minutes to make it to the bell for a decision?
Yeah, his last 3 fights went all in round 1 or one in round 2.
Yeah, it's like either you punch me or I punch you.
Yeah, that's true.
Type of this
we'll
is
throw a few a few dollars on that.
I think I'll probably just leave it. But next fight here, is another one with a probably cricket number here. This is at bantamweight. The return of Jose Maria Tome from the UFC, 40-9. Jose Maria Tome, yes, that one. Taking on Sarvadozan Kaidamov here. The Russian 13-0, or fighting on Russian now, 13-0. Tajikistan, which is really, starting to have a showing in MMA, which is interesting to see here. But be breaking down Jose Maria first here. He's a longtime fighter in the UFC, trains with Henry Cejudo there. We've seen at times out of Team Nogueira. 40-9, won last in May. Fought last in May where he had a no contest, had accidental elbows to the back of the head of a 9-9 opponent. Before that, put away a 2-0 opponent, losing an ACA and ACB in his last couple of losses. Macon Silvan, not a bad fighter to fight against, but, not at all like high level here, beating, most of his opponents by finish lately, but a lot more losses. The Askar Askarov fight was very competitive early, but just as it went on, Askar Askarov, as he got the takedowns, it just got worse and worse as it went on. And Askarov could have finished him before the 5th round, so not giving him a ton of credit there. Overall, Jose, it's just, kind of the time has passed him by. He was in the UFC back in 2013. Another guy in the UFC early on who had 2 losses, got finished by Lineker, no shame there, and then finished by Dustin Ortiz. Typically gets finished in his losses as well. Can be competitive early on. Kadamov here, Tajikistan, Sarvar, 13-0. Very persistent with the takedowns. That is how you beat Jose Maria Tome. That's how he fights for the most part. Does choose submission or position over submission. Has a few rear naked chokes. I think this is another probably decision win for him. He was originally supposed to be facing Scoggins back in August, so he's been trying to get a fight for a while here. The game's just passed Jose by, but this price makes it possible to want to play. I'll say Kadamov finds a finish somewhere inside the distance, actually.
Yeah, this is similar to the last fight, an old vet versus a young up-and-comer from Tajikistan. Kamadov is looking really great in his career so far, 2-0 in UAE Warriors. Both these guys making their Bellator debuts as well. It's going to be a theme throughout the card. Freestyle wrestling style for Kamadov. I really like to see that. He was a -500 his last fight, so obviously he's going to have heavy odds here. Jose Maria Tome had a stint in the UFC as well, losing to John Lineker, Dustin Ortiz. He's lost a really good opposition, but he's getting up there in age. Another guy that hasn't been super active. I'll take the undefeated Tajikistan fighter, 13-0. The majority or half of his wins come by a decision, half by finish. I think Maria Tome, this is bantamweight, right? I think this is a bantamweight fight.
Is that 135?
Yeah, so I think he's crafty enough to survive. I'll probably take Kamadov decision or maybe a quick finish.
Yep, -900 currently on Kamadov, plus 575 on Jose Maria. Yeah. That's
maybe
rough,
throw him in the parlay.
Yeah, even that is just like
you're getting pennies.
Next fight here is at the famous catch weight of 181 pounds. Stephen Hill taking on Andrea Fusi, who's taking this fight on short notice here. I'm not a huge fan of catch weight, but it is what it is. I'll break down Andrea here first, the short notice replacement to Stephen Hill, 8-6 out of Italy, 30 years old, top level gym, Il Barbaro. Second 8-6 guy on the card, kind of weird stat there. 2 straight losses coming into this fight to decent level of competition, one with Bellator and Walter Puglisi, and that was at Bellator 230, which just checking here, but I assume that was the last Milan card, and it was. Indeed. So it seems that they call on him. He's actually faced Walter Puglisi 2 times in Bellator. He has a split decision over him and a unanimous decision loss. Lost his last time out in May of last year to Peter Nyes by arm triangle early on. Most of his wins coming by submission as well. He's been put away by submission in 2 of his losses, put away by decision in 2, and knocked out. So kind of can be finished anyway or lose anyway. 5-0. Stephen Hill here, 29 years old, 9 straight wins going back to his amateur career. Has had a grappling bout in there, but last time out in April.
See the method, the loss, like how he lost.
Yep, Cloverleaf, which
I believe I've never seen a Cloverleaf submission before.
Yeah, well, I'll talk about another submission in a little bit that turned out just to be a rear naked choke. So Cloverleaf, I believe, is a form of a arm lock, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But yeah. I'm not positive on that, so don't quote me. But yeah, overall, has faced one fighter with wins on his record. He's put away all of his opponents. 21-second win in his last time out in April really doesn't tell you much. Was supposed to face Walter Puglisi here, and look at that, Puglisi's out, so Fusi comes in. Stephen Hill should
here.
Yeah, Stephen Hill should be able to do well here, but this is the first guy he's faced with multiple wins on his record besides a 3-1 opponent. So Fusi could be very veteran savvy, and you could be sitting with a very crooked number on Hill that you're not happy you have. So leave this one alone, but Hill should put him away.
Yeah, Hill, the undefeated English fighter, 5-0, making his Bellator debut. His opponent, Andrea Fusi, his 3rd Bellator fight, coming in with an 8-6 record, 15th professional fight, a lot more experience. But Stephen Hill did have a 4-0 amateur record as well, so he's ready for the big show here. All his wins come by finish, 3 in round 1, 1 in round 2. One was an unknown, actually. I'm not sure how he won it. I couldn't find it on Sherdog or Tapology. But yeah, Fusi coming in short notice. I think he's going to struggle here. He hasn't been super active either. He's only had 3 fights since May of 2019. I like the Englishman here. Fusi is going to have the crowd on his side, being Italian. We got Italy versus England here, so I don't know if there's even odds out yet, but I would expect
there are.
to be the favorite.
Yeah, he's definitely the favorite. Stephen Hill, you can find for the nice cheap price of -750.
Are you kidding me?
Plus 450 on Mr. Fusi here. So another one. I mean, I know it's like these guys are just telling you to pass, but what are you supposed to do there? You can't do much. Inside the distance will probably be -400.
One of these heavy favorites is probably going to drop the ball or lay an egg, right?
And one of these, and several, I think, Italian underdogs are going to come through. There's a lot of Italian underdogs on this card, and Italy did very well on the last card.
They all won.
Yeah, so
they won perfect.
Yeah, it's about as well as you can do. Last I checked, but next fight here, return of Luke Traynor. Which, if you're part of this show, you remember last time I was on, I said put Luke Traynor in your parlays against Simone Biong. He is safe, and it proved to be otherwise. Luke started out
-300.
Yeah, Luke, and I thought that was just an absolute steal. And I stood by it. I said top of my line, PRP, everything. And I was wrong. Luke started out really strong. As soon as the adversity was shown to him and kind of his opponent was able to withstand those first few minutes of the storm, Luke fell apart. Simone really dominated on the ground.
10-8 round.
Huh?
There was a 10-8 round in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, several moments where it looked like it was over for Luke. I'll give Luke credit for making it to a decision, but it's also like I'm giving him credit for doing well once he looks so terrible in a fight that he should have rolled in. So he's taken time off. He's switched camps now. I just forgot on my notes to note where, but
he's not addicted anymore.
He is not. No, he's switched camps. Both him and Simone Powell switch camps. So something happened with Titan. I believe is where he was at previously. And he switched over. He said no hard feelings, but there were some things that really needed to change. So he's taken some time off, gotten much better. And I'll give him credit. He is not taking, in my opinion, a very easy fight here in his return. 11-3, Lucas Alcina. I think this definitely could be the dog with one of those big numbers who you could really probably capitalize here on this card. If there's one of these big ones, I think this is one that has a very good chance. He just fights a really steady pace that I could see Luke Trainer having a very difficult time with if he's not able to get him out of there early. Just based on Luke's previous issues in his fight. Alcina very well experienced here. He is 36 years old, but in good shape. 11-3, good size. 3 straight wins. Has been active. Fought last in June. It's going to be his third fight of 2022. Got the finish by KO in his fight 2 fights ago. Not facing a great level of competition. All these fights happening with CAM, which when I check is an Argentinian organization. So there is that. He did headline the last time out. So he's, had the spotlight on him, you could say. But yeah, his wins coming with CAM mostly. So all the same organization. He was put away in the first round of his last 2 losses. He was put away by submission in the second round of his other loss. So he has been put away in all 3 of his losses here. And yeah, again, he hasn't faced a very high level of competition throughout his career. Most of his wins coming on the Argentinian regional scene. Luke Trainer, as we said, coming last time out and really choking, except he made the decision against Viong. Before that, his wins in Bellator, not great opponents. Alex O'Toole, not good. Just not good at all. It was a complete can.
Terrible.
And then Yannick Bahati, also not that great. And he kind of struggled a little bit there. We saw a little chinks now. Hindsight's 2020. I am going to go with Luke Trainer here. I'm interested to see the improvement in the new camp. There's no way I'm putting $1 on his price. I think his price is the worst price of the night.
Yeah, this is
pass.
It's an interesting fight, man. It's still interesting. I like to see how Luke Trainer rebounds off that loss. He did survive. He's going to learn a ton from that fight. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I really underestimated Simon Biong as well. I had Luke Trainer in parlays. It was early in the card too, so it killed all my parlays early.
Oh yeah,
yeah, we were both suffering that Bellator. And but yeah, this is a 10-year age difference. 36 years old for Alcina, and 26 for Luke Trainer. Luke Trainer making his 4th Bellator fight, Bellator debut for the Argentinian. He has to travel all the way to Italy from Argentina, so that's a pretty long flight.
Good
yeah, and this is his first time on the big show as well. He is getting up there in age, 36. Both these guys are pretty tall, 6'3". Luke Trainer is 6'6", 81-inch reach. And he was 9-1 as an amateur. He's a finisher as well. All his wins have come by finish. 3 in round 1, 1 in round 2, 1 in round 3. He can do it whenever the fight takes place. We know he can go all 3 rounds. I'm taking Luke Trainer, but as you said, I don't like the price either. And this is one of the fights. I have a question mark on Lucas Alcina. I've never seen him fight live. My first time hearing about him. So, yeah, I don't think he's as good as Simon Biong as. We learned a lot about Simon Biong as well in that fight. Yeah, he's a good fighter.
Yeah, Lucas can get the fight to where Luke could have some Luke versus Lucas. I just realized that. But Alcina here can get the fight. He has, decent fundamental boxing that leads to a lot. He does lead to a lot of the same trip takedown in his fights. You can kind of see it if you go and watch the tape. He does have some kind of repetitive moves that I'll talk about with another fighter in the main event too, which will be interesting to see if those work at the top level. Luke, should, I'm giving him credit though. Luke's not taking a can here.
No, very experienced fighter.
Yeah, but minus 750 to plus 500.
Yeah, I already put him in parlays before researching Lucas. I only put him in one parlay, but I'm not going to put him in any more.
Yeah,
Just yeah, I just don't like the number.
yeah, it's a tough number there, but it is at 205 there on the prelims. It's the second, third. Well, actually, there's way more prelims because I forgot how long this card is. We're
Yeah,
only 8 fights through it here. I thought it was like second from the top because I'm used to like 14 fight cards, but
yeah,
eight.
we're not even halfway through yet.
Yeah, I love it. This is one of my favorite, if not my favorite fight of the night here. I love this fight. It is
Yeah.
I just think this is a great matchup. These guys are really going to come out and put on a show. Nico Solili versus Burama Kamara here at 170 pounds. Really good matchmaking here. Just I love me some Kamara though. Kamara is so fun to watch. Last time out made me look pretty brilliant. Not gonna lie, exactly how I envisioned that fight going there.
Yeah, he was on skates in that fight, right?
No, I mean, they were just kind of throwing down, but Barama just had such an athletic edge on his opponent,
Yeah.
Victor Verche who was a 5-1 opponent coming in. But Barama here, 6'4", stands out dramatically. 79-inch reach. I think it could be longer than that, frankly. Makes the weight, fighting out of France now, 5-1. Rebounded from a loss to Wasami Akamoshe. Very good fight there. Just close. He just got kind of out wrestled and out pressured in that fight. Came into a fight with Victor Verchere, minus 120 favorite. Pretty much a pick'em fight, but just really used those physical tools well. Had good movement, catching his opponent at the end of his strikes really well, using the elbows, using the knees. I mean, just went in there and just overwhelmed Victor of a tough guy. All of his fights coming by finish since the win by decision in his debut. Debuted back in 2019. He's looked pretty well. Victor, was a good step up in competition. I do think Nicolo is his toughest test to date, though. Very good fighter, also only 24 years old, SBG Ireland, which has been on a roll lately. Last 2 fights, though, for Nicolo have been kind of rough. Bobby Pallet, it was close. It was competitive. It was tough. I had it scored slightly for Nicolo, but again, it was a close fight. I think he did learn a lot from it. The
He
loss
did
to Hart,
fight, but it was a timekeeping issue in round 3. That's why it was a no contest.
right? And so it's like that, but it was still a pretty competitive fight.
Yeah, and he cashed the ticket. Still cashed. He was plus 230.
Did it? Yeah, because I think
Yeah,
I had. Yeah, I think I was edging the Bobby Palin in that fight.
Yeah.
I think about it. And then George Hardwick, which we've seen how well the Hardwick boys are,
UFC
especially
fighter now.
Yeah, exactly. So George in the UFC, good scrambler with regards to his grappling. He's not unwilling to trade on the feet, but I think here it's very clear what he has to do. He's got to stick to Kamara, eliminate the reach disadvantage, the striking disadvantage, the speed disadvantage, try and make this a grind, get on the back and snatch up a submission. For me, Kamara has to work on keeping that pressure of solely off him. 2 fights in May, unfortunately, were withdrawn for Nicolo. So he's been trying to get a fight for quite a while now, hasn't fought since last November. I think this is a tough matchup. I think if this fight turns into a grind, Nicolo has a chance, but I like Burama here to, kind of make him pay for when he shoots in for the takedowns and try to get him down. And I think he puts him away TKO inside of 2 rounds.
Yeah, I can see that happening for sure. This is definitely fight of the night, early fight of the night candidate.
Yep.
I'm definitely looking forward to this one. We got a Frenchman versus an Italian. The Italian's training out of SBG Ireland, though, Nicolo Soli. I like what I've seen from him. He did take a year off. Like you said, he had 2 fights scheduled. He's gonna I'm excited to see what he's improved on and just the tools that he's sharpened. He won all 3 rounds. Yeah, I think he's never lost by finish. Yeah, he's only lost to George Hardwick by unanimous decision. No shame there. Kamaru, 1-0 in Bellator, got that quick finish over Victor. I've just seen more out of Soli. This is his fifth Bellator fight, training out of SBG Ireland, John Kavanagh. If you've been betting on guys training out of there, you've been making a lot of money lately. So I'm gonna stick on. I'm gonna stay on the SBG Ireland train. He's also from Italy, so he's gonna have the crowd on his side. And he hasn't fought in a year, so he's gonna want both his paychecks. He's probably got bills to pay. So let's go Soli. But this is gonna be a really fun fight.
Yeah, it's a good fight. And depending on which book you're on, minus 115 on some books for Burama, minus 115 on others for Solili. So pretty much a pick 'em here. And yeah, it goes one of two ways. I think it's either the grind or the finish there. Riding with you on Frem and Jacoby. Appreciate that, Castellanos. Good to see you here, Matthew. But yeah, great fight there. We're in agreement there at belt at 170. Next fight,
we can actually bet on as well.
Yeah, exactly. Next fight, yeah, exactly. Whatever side you're on. 205. We've talked about this guy quite a bit tonight. Simon Byung, almost like he's the fighter of the prelims here in some way, taking on a 3-1 Drago Zulko here.
Not in Bellator.
Yeah, Zupko here, 3-1 versus 8-2, 31 years old. So Dragos, we'll talk about first here. Coming into this fight, 3 straight wins. Last fight was with Bellator against an 0-1 Hedzi Gergis. He went to a decision. That was at heavyweight. Lost 2 fights. When kickboxing, to pretty decent opponents. Got knocked out in Glory pretty badly in 2017. Wins on the Moldovan regional scene as well. Mostly a kickboxer, as went to a decision. I think Simon Byung has been given a gift here for some reason. Not really sure why, but
he's Italian as well.
Simon is?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Well, that must be why. They want to get the Italian a win here. Loss coming to Christian Edwards. No real shame there, and then exposed Luke Trainer a little bit there. I think he really gained a lot from that loss to Christian Edwards, who's a guy I probably rate higher than most people. For the most part, has had a decent level of competition throughout his career as well. Good striker, good overall MMA fighter. I think he uses the grappling here and exposes Dragos.
Yeah. I pretty much agree with everything you said. Simon Byung is the one that killed us on the Luke Trainer fight. So we know how good he is. He's also extremely tall as well, 6'5", 80-inch reach. I think he's a good up and comer in the division. We're going to see a lot of him. And yeah, he should cruise here. This he has fought in Bellator once. He did win, but he has 3. Yeah, he has 3 fights since 2015. 2 fights in 2015, and then he fought in 2019. So he hasn't fought in 3 years. He's from Moldova. I don't trust Moldovan fighters either. He's a kickboxer, but I see 0-2 as a kickboxing record, losing by knockout in 36 seconds. He's lost by knockout in MMA in 2 minutes and 17 seconds. So I see Simon Byung getting an early knockout and getting the crowd on their feet in an exciting fashion.
Yeah, this is one that I just see continuing to head in one direction, which is towards Byung, with regards to the line. If you can get minus 380, put it in some parlays.
Yeah, that's decent, man. I'll take that.
Put in some parlays plus 300. I think this is going to be around minus 500-600 by fight night. So maybe Simon does to me what Luke Trainer did last time, but I'm saying Simon is a parlay maker. First in my 3-piece parlay for Zhang Li as well. Next fight here is at featherweight. It's a pretty good fight, actually. Walter Cogliano. I believe that's how you. Let me see. Walter Cogliandro taking on Yves Landau. So Walter versus Yves here at 145. I'm a big Yves Landau fan. Walter, he's okay. He's a grinder for sure. Good veteran at this point, 11-3-1, Italian, 30 years old, SBG Ireland, the snatch. Likes to really slow down his opponents with the grappling, coming off a loss in Brave back in April to Jae Hong Bong. A very competitive decision. Really, his last two have been very close decisions. The Sten Cerame fight, kind of thought Sten won that fight. I thought that he was able to use his good long, grab or good long striking, I should say, to win that fight. Walter was really spamming for takedowns, not doing a ton with it. A lot of cage control though, and was able to eke one out. You see split decision, lost to Steve Amable by a guillotine, a flying guillotine. Got knocked out back by Elon Nahaye in the Italian cage fighting series in 2019. Close fight with a 7-4 Marika. Face of okay level of competition, good power, but as he's raised the level of competition, has relied more on the wrestling. I think that's what he has to do here against Yves Landau, try to wear him down, slow him down. Yves now cutting to 145, used to be at 155, coming off of a win over Gavin Hughes at 155. So he's kind of done the yo-yo thing, which is a little bit concerning here. Coming into this fight, it'll be interesting to see how he makes the weight. Walter has to just kind of grind this one out. Otherwise, I think Yves can catch him at some point. But Walter's a pretty tough guy. He fights with a lot of split decisions. Wouldn't surprise me if this is another split decision. Some of these Italian dogs are going to come through. I'm going to edge towards Walter here to win a close decision. I think Yves has a live chance early, but as this fight goes on, I think Walter just takes this fight where he needs to and, edges out a decision. A lot of split decisions, though, so it could go Yves' way. Give me the dog and Walter.
Yeah, I like it. Walter making his Bellator debut, but he's fought in big promotions like Cage Warriors, Brave, FC. So he's not shy to the big show, and he's got a decent record, 11-3-1, 15 fights in total. His opponent Yves Landau, 17-9, 26 in total, 2-1 in Bellator. Fourth Bellator fight here. He's a break dancer. He's kind of like Michel Pereira, coming out, blows half his wad, just walking out to the cage, right?
Yeah, now he's cutting another 10 pounds again.
And now he's cutting 10 pounds. So yeah, I'm always worried about that. He likes showing off to the fans. I'd rather him focus on just getting in there, taking some deep breaths, but he's going to do what he does. And both these guys, I'm not going to invest heavily on, but like Yves Landau has fought Gavin Hughes, Tim Wildy, Terry Brazier, really good opposition. Walter, his past few fights, I really like Steve Amable. He fought, but he lost by a flying guillotine in round 1. Mm-hmm. Judo style for Walter. Yeah, he could steal a split decision here, but I'm going to go Yves. I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm going Yves Landau, but yeah, it's a tough fight to pick. And Walter's also with SBG Ireland. So yep. If my prediction's right, a few fights ago, they're going to be 1-0. They're going to be on that hype train. And he's Italian as well. He's going to have the crowd chanting him on. So it might be biased towards the judges as well, but that wasn't the case versus Sean O'Malley and Peter Yan. But it is what it is. And I'm going to go Yves, but split decision Yves Landau.
Yep, minus 210 on Yves right now, plus 165 on Walter Cogliandro. Very good fight, close fight. It's one I'm not suggesting betting heavily either way for sure.
Yeah, he's going to lose round 3, no matter what, in my opinion.
If it makes it to round 3. But next fight here, I don't have a ton to say about this one, to be honest. There's only so much time in the day, and Chiara Pencho fights, I'm not doing a ton of research on, if I'm being honest. She's taking on, I think, a setup opponent here in Manuela. So Manuela Marconetto here, 3-1. She is but Great Britain top team, the Butcher's daughter. 6 straight wins going back here. Well, 6 straight wins somehow, but 3-1 as a pro. So I don't know how she has 6 straight wins, but as an amateur, went 3-1. As a pro, has gone 3-1. Faced Claudia Diaz, who is not great, but was able to watch that fight with Combate Global. It was fine. Has a win over Danny McCormick next, so definitely a big win.
More people would probably know her as Danny Nealon.
Yep, but still, at one point, Danny McCormick was supposed to be a hyped-up prospect. Lost 2 straight now, and now at Invicta.
Even lost outside of Bellator.
Yeah, Chiara Pencho here, Beastie Barbie, 7-3, 2 straight wins coming into this with Bellator. She's been in and out of Bellator. She actually lost to Danny McCormick, so the common opponent. Yeah, has lost 2, last 2 wins. She's looked good enough. I'm not putting $1 on this one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both Italian as well, so I guess give me Chiara, but who cares?
Yeah. Penko is definitely the more experienced fighter, 3-1 in Bellator. Pro since 2017, so 5 years now. Her opponent she's actually been a pro since 2017, but only is 3-1, while Penko is 7-3. Manuela making her Bellator debut here. She's probably getting the Bellator shot for beating Danny Nealon by split decision. I didn't watch the fight. I don't know if it was controversial, but yeah, she's in Bellator now. She's never been. We've never been able to bet on her. There's no recent odds. With Penko, she's been a -250 win, a +100 win, and then she was a +240 against Danny Nealon. She lost that one, but she's cashed 2 times in a row here. I don't know. Her gym is Rendoki Dojo. I've never heard of it. Manuela training out a Great Britain top team. I'm familiar with that, but yeah, this is a tough fight to pick. Manuela very active. This is her 4th fight this year, so 3 fights in 2022 already. Penko last fought May 13th, 2022, losing by 30-27 to. Oh no, she won. She won to Lanchana Green.
Lanchana Green.
Yeah, Lanchana Green. That means nothing. So
not a great fighter.
Like you said, probably a pass. I haven't even looked at the odds for this fight yet.
Yeah, Penko's a -250 favorite. This is a dog or pass.
Yeah, for sure. Or maybe the over. Parlay the over. The over is going to be -250 probably.
Yep. So that's all we got to say about that fight. On to the next one here. This is a good one, but a fighter who I have trouble having a read on, and Thiago Guti. Almost as much trouble as I have saying his name. But yeah, was way off on Guti in his last fight against Louis Long. I said Louis Long was going to have a huge advantage with regards to the grappling and his submission ability, and Guti just made me look like I didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Now taking on Alfie Davis here. Alfie Davis, a very, very crafty veteran. He's very good on the feet, good at keeping his distance. Fights like that. Reminds me of a lot of the late Liza Theodoro, honestly, and how he fights with the movement and just his ability to kind of take up the space and the volume and win decisions. A lot of times, our London shoot fighters, 14-4-1, had a draw against Tim Wilde, very good fight there. Alex Shabley was able to break that distance and really pressure Alfie. When you put Alfie on the back foot against the cage, Alfie really does start to struggle for sure. I do think that's what Guti is going to try to do in this fight. I just in general, like Daniel Scatizzi, I think that could look like in this fight, honestly, with Guti. I just think Guti's really got to, be able to mix it up, which he's for the most part been able to do, and not just rely on going straight to takedowns here. He's 35 years old now, 4 straight wins. Louis Long, he just dominated in that fight. Abner Laborious got the ground and pound finish. So good to see in that fight. The Mahdi Baghdad fight as well was able to mix it up with the strikes and the takedowns. Lost 2 straight to Sage Northcutt and Hack Press, and since then he's looked just much better. I could see Alfie frustrating him, but yeah, I'm just kind of back and forth on this one. I don't have a great read. Um, I would just go with Guti ever so slightly just because of how well he looked with regards to his grappling. And I think that's the clear route to beat Alfie. And this way is just kind of putting him down and keeping him there. But Alfie's crafty. He frustrates a lot of guys. And Guti's 35. He could kind of expose the gas tank here. And Davis at 30. But I can't go with him. I'm going to go with Guti by decision. But it's a close one. I don't have a good read.
Yeah, I like it. Good fight. I think it's good matchmaking here. Gucci getting his second Bellator fight, beating Lewis Long, like you said. He went 1-5.
Dominated Lewis Long.
Yeah, 30-27. It probably should have been 30-26. But yeah, Thibaut Gucci or Gauchi, 1-5. Not a pretty record in the UFC. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't cut him earlier. But ever since he's been on a roll, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins in a row, I believe. And yeah, he's looking good. Elfie Davis, like you said, very tricky on the feet. Karate fighter, has his hands down while he fights, kind of like a Stephen Thompson. I like what I've seen from Elfie Davis as well. And he's 5-1-1 in Bellator. It's a solid record, only losing to Shabali, I think. Yeah, Shabali. But he actually should have lost that Tim Wilde fight. I think it's Wilde. Tim Wilde.
Tim Wild.
Or Tim Wild. Well, it's Wilde.
Oh, so. It's Tim Wild. It's Tim Wild.
Okay, Tim Wild. Oh, yeah, I that's a lot easier to say. Tim Wild.
Yeah, Tim Wild. It's the redhead.
Yeah, he had a majority draw with Tim Wild, but Wild should have actually won that fight. He was deducted 1 point for grabbing the fence in round 1. So that actually, if that never happened, that would have been another loss on Elfie's record.
I had Tim Wild. Trust me. Yeah.
Oh, you had him? Yeah. So you got your money back at least.
Yeah. It was a bullshit point deduction for sure.
Yeah, it was early in the fight too, like right off the bat.
Yeah, it was
but yeah, coming from a great camp, London Shoot Fighters, Elfie Davis. I think he's going to outpoint Gucci here or Gauchi. Yeah, I just think he can keep it on the feet as long as he can. Elfie Davis is always training that takedown defense, and London Shoot Fighters. Well, I guess Michael Venom Page isn't the greatest example. He got taken down multiple times, but obviously he's training takedown defense. If he can keep it on the feet, he's going to win. I'm going to say Elfie Davis by decision. So we're going opposite on this one.
Yeah, Guti, the slight favorite, -135. You can get Alfie Davis at +110. So the odds do kind of agree with this being one we disagree on. So fair disagreement there.
Tebow has lost to Nasrat and Sage Northcutt, both very similar styles to Elfie Davis.
Yeah, a little more power from those guys, I think. But yeah, fair enough. Costello Van Steenis versus Camille Oneshuk. I learned how to say it right before this, and I just forgotten now. But either way, I like what I've seen out of Camille quite a bit. He's a very exciting young striker out of Poland here, taking on Costello, who makes his return here after a little bit of a layoff. So we'll be interested to see how he comes in. Usually comes in good condition, pretty well-rounded guy, 13-2. Dutch fighter. I'll be breaking down the 26-year-old Camille first. Pretty good sized fighter for the division here at 6'3", only 26 years old. Hasn't fought since last December with ACA, where he got the finish by a really clean knockout with a body kick to Vladimir Fedinin. Fedinin's fought at welterweight. He's fought at middleweight. He's fought at light heavyweight. He's fought at heavyweight. He's fought all over the place. Veteran, very tough guy. And he just hurt Vladimir early in the fight too to the body. So works the body really well. Also has a really nice switch left head kick that he's knocked out and rocked several fighters with, including Christian Wilczynski 2 fights ago, where he got the knockout in the 3rd round. So like to see that a lot. Tough decision loss against a veteran as well. Was in it till the end in that one as well. Yeah, good, just good overall striker. He's worked on the grappling. Reminds me of the Mr. Smile from a few months ago, fought with Bellator, who was a very good kind of striker, who was working on the grappling, still very, very young in his MMA game. Costello Vanstinas, a veteran, very good fighter here. Fought a very good level of competition. He's been off for a few years. That is my concern, but his last fight was a split decision win over Fabian Edwards, who I don't rate too highly, but it is what it is. He beat him. His only loss in Bellator coming to John Salter. The wins coming over, okay levels of competition early. The Chris Honeycutt win I rate quite highly. Mike Shipman was another one who came in with a lot of hype, and Stenis was just kind of able to zap that win by knockout. This is a good fight. It's just a really good fight. I'm really interested to see how Costello rebounds from a few years off. I'm interested to see how Camille looks in his debut here. I'm gonna go with Camille though. I think that he's got some real legit striking. I think this is a few years off for Costello. I think that Costello would be wise to use his grappling in this fight, which most likely he will. So wouldn't surprise me if Costello edges out a decision or gets a submission. But I think Camille is going to catch him early. So I got a KO for Camille Omejchuk in this one.
Okay. Yeah. This is a really tough fight to break down and make a prediction. Onejchuk is 9-1, making his Bellator debut. He was 2-1 in ACA, fighting out of the Russian promotion. He won as a minus 215 favorite his last time out against Vladimir Fedin. Like you said, body kick to ground and pound in 1 minute and 25 seconds, and then he won in round 3, which is always good to see. He actually has two wins in round 3, 3 in round 1. So he can. He's dangerous the entire 15 minutes. I don't like the layoff for Costello Vanstinas. I'm not sure what he's been doing. Has he had fights scheduled?
He had a fight scheduled with Lorenz Larkin that was he was injured for. I believe it was back injury, and then he's been out since then, 2021.
Yeah, so 2 years off, beating Fabian Edwards. That could have went either way. Training with Gegard Mousasi. Mousasi hasn't looked great either in his past couple fights. His last fight, not his past couple, but Vanstinas, Bellator vet at this point, his 7th fight. He's on he's in the title mix too. He's just nobody's talking about him because he doesn't fight. He hasn't fought recently, so
he's just not active. Yeah.
If he can come out here and knock out Onejchuk, he'll get himself right back into the mix. And
sorry, I was saying Onejchuk. Yeah, I was saying the wrong name earlier. I was just apologizing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and he just turned 26 September 28th, so a month ago. Young buck still. I don't know much about the Polish fighter, but Polish fighters are doing that's a great country of fighters coming up, and it's a hard fight to predict, man.
This guy.
I'll go lost. So he's only lost by decision. Costello's never been finished.
Yep.
I can say the same with Onejchuk. So I'll take the over, and I'll take Costello just based off the Bellator experience and his level of competition.
Fair enough. Another disagreement here. Minus 275 on Costello here. Plus 210 on Camille.
I won't. I'm probably not going to bet that. I'll take the over though.
I think I'll take a dip on Camille, but not anything too crazy. We are now to the featured prelim. That is a hell of a preliminary card, first of all. And it is featuring, I think, the right prelim here. Davy Gallen versus Daniele Scatizzi. Just talked about him a minute ago. Really good fight, though, here. I'm a huge fan of Davy Gallen. How can you not be of the judoka fighter? Rolling Thunder of Ross Pearson just sent his career into another stratosphere, man. This guy, he was just another fighter before that. And he's not just a Rolling Thunder. He's so much more than that. As I said, the judoka, really good striker. going against a really scrappy guy who, if he gets his haircut under control, I think can be a lot better. Because Daniel Scatizzi, the reason I say that is because you can go back to the Alfie Davis fight. Half of the Alfie Davis fight, he's using one of his hands to brush his hair out of his face.
Oh yeah, he keeps going like this.
He could not keep his hair, and that's just crazy to me that a fighter wouldn't think of their hair with regards to a fight. In all seriousness,
Clay Guida makes it work though.
Yeah, but yeah, at least ties it back. But Scatizzi, 11-6, 29 years old for Scat, SBG Ireland. He's a scrapper, man. He's not the most technical on the feet, though. His action on the feet, not great, as a matter of fact. Vladimir Tokov really able to exploit that. Never had much of a chance in that one. The Alfie Davis fight was much more competitive, but again, Scatizzi was just willing to grapple way too much, or willing to stay on the feet way too much in that fight, and should have been grappling. When he does get the grappling going, he's able to beat guys like Gavin Hughes and quickly. Got him down very quickly. He loves that guillotine choke. I believe he has, or no, maybe he doesn't have. I thought for some reason he had a few, but he does like getting into that position at the least. He's been in Bellator, and then outside Bellator with Brave, lost to Al Sawai, and Charlie Leary. Charlie Leary knocked him out in the third round. I think it's pretty interesting because I see it going pretty similar in this fight. I just think over the rounds, Scatizzi's going to realize he can't take down Davy Galone, who has very good takedown defense, and on the feet, Davy just hits like a truck. Much more diverse, much better striker. I don't think Scatizzi's going to be able to get his respect on the feet. He's going to really have to grind out on the ground, but again, Galone's last three, Kane Moussa, who, looked pretty good in his last fight. Charlie Leary knocked him out, and then knocked out Benjamin Brander there as well. Another scrappy guy. I just think Davy's on a roll and keeps it going here. He's one of my favorites on the card here. I think Davy Galone makes the Italian crowd upset here because I think he gets a finish second or third round, and he is on the parlay.
Oh, boom. The cat's out of the bag. He's in the parlay. All right. Yeah, I like Davy Galone too, man. Fan favorite. 33 now. So, he's got to cash those checks and get into a title fight as soon as he can. 30 professional fights in total, 3-0 in Bellator now. Third fight this year, so he's been very active. Daniel Scatizzi, 29 years old, a little younger, both in their prime, 3-2 in Bellator. He's been in Bellator since 2016, so 6 years. He's been doing his thing. He's looked really good, and he's only lost to really good opposition like Charlie Leary in round 3. A unanimous decision to Marvin Vittori for a tournament championship. Alfie Davis, Vladimir Tokov. But I can put Davy Galone in those names of those opponents. Like if he loses, like it wouldn't shock me. So like Davy Galone's he's lost a lot too, though. He's lost 7 times, but he's looked really good recently. He's on a roll right now. He beat Charlie Leary as well. So MMA math there. I know it doesn't work, but
he looked really good fight too.
Scatizzi has cashed as an underdog twice, plus 185 and plus 200. So, a lot of people doubt Scatizzi, and he goes in there and proves people wrong. So, I don't want to. I think Davy Galone's a heavy favorite, and I don't want to invest too heavily. Scatizzi might come out here and shock the bookmakers.
Yeah, I'm pretty okay with him where he's at right now, minus 195. Plus 165.
That's always a trap number, right around minus 190. But
plus 165 on Scatizzi there. So I will be putting Galone in a parlay or two. So maybe we look back at this one and I'm like, oh, there it was. But gonna go with it. Main card is 4 fights because that's what Bellator always seems to do. First fight is at featherweight. It's a very good fight between 2 very good wrestlers and just overall MMA guys that really mirror each other. AKA, I think this one could be one of those split plays, if I'm being honest here. Andrew Fisher versus Justin Gonzalez. These guys just fight very similarly. They've both been very well tested. Big fan of both guys, honestly, but I love Andrew Fisher and kind of his resurgence late on. 19-8-1 out of Team Fish Tank, his own gym, but has a ton of really good guys coming in as well. 37 years old now. 5 straight wins with the Whitford unintentional eye poke. He was cruising in that fight. The Attila fight, it was closer than I think I was expecting. I had Andrew Fisher as one of my parlay pieces. I was expecting him to kind of cruise in that one. Attila had very good takedown defense at times in that fight, and on the feet it was pretty competitive. But still, Fisher was able to put away the German there. Pretty much dominated Ashley Grimshaw in all the grappling situations. Fisher's talked about coming into this fight. He's very much expecting the grappling and wrestling from Gonzalez. And he just thinks he's a better grappler if Gonzalez does get it down. He thinks he can submit him. He thinks he can get up. Just overall, Fisher seems very confident in his skills if it does go to a takedown, which I think it will. Win over Nicholas Backstrom as well. Competitive fight with Norman Park. Just overall, Fisher, he's a veteran. He's good everywhere. Has a really good pace to him, good takedown defense. But, Justin Gonzalez, you can say all the same things for pretty much. 13-1, 31 years old now for J-Train. Kind of like to say he is Justin Gaethje at home. Less power, less stand-up skill, but really, and more willing to wrestle, but pretty similar to Justin Gaethje overall. Does throw a lot of leg kicks. We'll mix it up. But I think he's going to be wrestling a lot in this fight. A split decision against Taiwan Claxton was when I kind of got a little bit worried about Justin. Then got pretty dominated by Aaron Pico, who chose to wrestle. And on Justin on his back, not a lot to offer. I think Fisher has more to offer with regards to sweeps, grappling, and ability to get up. So if Fisher's able to put his opponent Justin onto his back, I think he could have a lot of success there and edge out a decision. Split decision against Kai Kamaka. This is just a close fight. Two good wrestlers. I do think this goes the distance. I think it's anybody's fight, so it's split play. I would edge ever so slightly with Andrew Fisher, but just because I think he's got a little bit better ability to have some success on the feet, I think Justin really needs to have the wrestling going to feel very confident in his game. So Fisher ever so slightly. Really good matchup here, though, and it's close. I think the split could be on either side live.
Yeah, solid info there. Justin Gonzalez, 31 years old, 13-1, 9-0 as an amateur, so he's been there, done that. He's looked really good, man. I really like Justin Gonzalez. Against Kai Kamaka, it really could have went either way. It wasn't a robbery, split decision.
Yep.
And he's only lost to Aaron Pico, one of the best in the world.
Aaron Pico when he chose to wrestle too.
Yeah, very bad game plan going into that fight. He got 30-26.
Yeah.
He lost by 30-26. I think he's faced the better opposition than Andrew Fisher has. Mm-hmm. Andrew Fisher has fought like Ashley Grimshaw, Robert Whiteford, Attila Korkmaz. Just names like they're good fighters, obviously, just not as high level as like Aaron Pico, Taiwan Claxton, Kai Kamaka. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
And and he's 2-1 in Bellator now, only losing to Pico. I like Justin Gonzalez, but Andrew Fisher's on the older side as well, 37 now, 19-8, 1-1. This will be his 30th professional fight. He's been there, done that. He's only lost by 3 knockouts. One was by a cut, actually. One was to Martin Stapleton, if you've heard of him. And one was to the GOAT Artem Lobov in round 3.
Yep.
At 4 minutes and 59 seconds. Only 1 second left. And then 1 sub, 1 triangle to Paul Sass in round 1. He has 4 decision losses, all by unanimous to Joe Tomajolo. I can't remember his name, but Saul Almeida and Norman Park. I can pronounce those names. Yeah. So solid opposition there that he loses to. I like the young buck here, Justin Gonzalez. The travel worries me. I'm not sure how he acclimated. He does fight out of Colorado, so he's fighting at elevation already, training out of elevation. So, I like Justin Gonzalez to cruise to a decision here, but Andrew Fisher will give him trouble throughout the fight, but probably 29-28. He has to watch out for the north-south choke. Andrew Fisher has 3 of those, so the north-south choke is one of those that he likes. It's a live bet.
Yep. So Justin Gonzalez is a minus 270 favorite currently, plus 220 on Fisher. So the odds seem to agree with kind of your breakdown here. I think this is a closer fight. I'm going to take a shot on Fisher and, probably take a slight stab as well.
And Andrew Fisher was beating Robert Whiteford before the no contest. He was so upset about that.
He was winning that one very clearly.
Yeah.
Whiteford took the way out, in my opinion. Next fight is at 155 pounds. A really good fight between 2 Brits. Kind of surprised it's in the middle of Italy. They're having this one. Saul Rogers versus Tim Wild here with an E at the end of it. But, Saul Rogers moving up to 155. That Georgie K fight just looked like that move up to 155 is what the doctors ordered for a while from Saul. Looks like those cuts to 145 have taken away more than they added. The law of diminishing return. I think those cuts were really rough. I think this cut makes a lot more sense for him. He's still very physically capable at this weight. Very good grappler. Instinctual finisher. Tim Wild, the experiment, likes to mix it up, but I think he's going to prefer to keep this one on the feet. 35 years old he is. 2 straight wins, though, for him before the draw to Alfie Davis, which got a point taken away very quickly in the first round, as we've talked about. So I really do consider he's on a 3-fight win streak. And those wins being Charlie Leary, Yves Landau, and Alfie Davis. That's a very, very high level of a competition to get wins over for Tim there. And he's going to decisions. He's fighting very closely. His last loss was by submission to Brett Primus. Brett Primus just got him into that nasty Gogo Plata, which Brett Primus is somewhat known for. And there's no real shame in that one. Like, obviously, Wild, like, I give him credit for that. But if you know anything about me, I love Anthony Dizzy. And he has a finish of Anthony Dizzy, which I rate very highly. I love Anthony Dizzy. Yeah, and Anthony Dizzy fights a kind of similar way to us, somebody like Saul would fight. Saul's going to come in, and I just don't think he's going to want a lot to do with Tim on the feet. I think he's really going to force the takedowns. I'm going to be interested to see how he paces himself and his success once he gets it to the ground. But Saul Rogers, very good, as I said, grappler. Overall, 32 years old, SBG Manchester, 15-4 record here. Got rear naked choked by Mads Burnell and said, I'm moving up to 155. I think it was the right call. Honestly, at 145, he just looked to be a little bit handicapped by it. So I think Saul's going to come into this fight very, very confident. But I'm still a little bit, concerned with how he's going to keep up with the pace of a guy like Tim Wild. I think Tim Wild can really take him into, some spots where Saul starts to panic wrestle. And as that happens, I do think, even though Tim hasn't gotten a finish in a while, could be live for a finish later in the fight. But I just think that Saul not needing to cut the weight he needed to, I think it significantly helps his gas tank. And I just think on the ground, he's much better than Tim. So I like Saul in this spot to win a decision. I think this is a good fight between 2 veterans, but give me Saul Rogers.
Yeah, solid matchup here. Saul Rogers, the younger of the two at 32, Tim Wild, 35. Both familiar Bellator fighters at this point. Saul Rogers actually had a stint on The Ultimate Fighter, and he beat some really solid, actually really good fighters in Billy Quarantillo and Ryan Hall.
Yep.
So he beat those
Shut
guys.
Down Ryan Hall. Shut down Ryan Hall's grappling too. He grappled with Ryan Hall.
Yeah, I think that was a 3-round fight actually on The Ultimate Fighter. So yeah, very, very good on the ground, man. He's got 9 submissions, 5 rear naked chokes, 1 triangle, 1 anaconda, 1 darce, 1 north-south. So he's dangerous everywhere, like on the ground. He's not a one-trick pony, you know what I mean? Right. But he also has lost by 3 submissions. He's lost by rear naked choke to Mads Burnell, 1 guillotine in round 2, 1 arm triangle in round 3. So yeah, he gets finished as well. I'm interested to see how he comes into this fight. He did just 30-26 Georgie Karakanian, so I think he's in a really good spot in his career right now.
Yeah.
But Tim Wildy is like, even though he's 35, he's looking great, man. Like he's also might just be a late bloomer, you know?
Mhm.
And he should have won against Elfie. He beat Yves Landau. He beat Charlie Leary. He just hasn't been as active. Those are his only 3 fights in 3 years. So,
Right.
so I'm gonna go Saul Rogers. I just think it's a bad matchup for Tim Wild. Yeah, Tim Wild. That Wildy, it always looks like Wildy to me, but it's Wild.
Tim Wild.
Yeah, and Saul Rogers actually trains out of Killcliff FC as well, so he's training with the best in the world. I like him to get the submission or decision, but it's going to be a tough out. It's not going to be a walk in the park.
Yeah, and it's interesting that in this fight card with 18 fights, 15 of which have odds available, that when I'm coming up with my 3 for the parlay here, I am going to consider this one. It's between this and the co-main event for my 3rd spot for the parlay.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You can decide at the end.
Yeah, so I'll decide at the end, but Saul Rogers is my pick. It is by decision. I think it's a close one. Minus 380, minus 400 on Saul Rogers, plus 300 on Tim Wild. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
And
I would look for the double chance, submission or decision. You can get a little better odds.
Yeah, maybe a minus 250, minus 300, but still pretty rough go of it there. But I am edging with Saul, taking away the terrible odds here. Next is the co-main event. This is at middleweight.
Laptop in 1 sec.
Yeah, no worries. This is something. All right. We've got Charlie Ward taking on the other Edwards, Fabian Edwards. I am not a huge fan of either one of these guys, I'll be honest. Charlie Ward, big bully, 10-4. I got a little echo right now, but that's okay. 10-4, 41 years old, 3 straight wins coming into this fight over Kyle Kurtz, Andy Manzalo, and Alan Carlos. The last 2 coming by decision. His odds in those fights, were quite crooked. Alan Carlos, he was a minus 575 favorite. He couldn't put it away, 13-9, and now he's taking this huge step up. The level of competition he beats is like a Justin Moore, Jamie Stevenson, Martin Hudson, 4-4, John Redmond, 7-13. Lost to Galore Bonfado. Remember that guy? Got slammed by him. Knocked out by Razak Al Hassan in 53 seconds. John Phillips beat him. Anytime he's fought anybody of note, they put him away. Fabian Edwards, is he of note? Is he even good? I'm not sure, to be honest. He's not that great either. 10-2, called the assassin for some reason. He did put away Lyoto Machida by hooks last time out after losing 2 straight to Costello Vanstinas and Austin Vanderfer. A lot of closer decisions against not great levels of competition. Has a few knockouts on the record, but I just don't think his KOs are that great. Somebody goes down, though, I hope. So I'll say Fabian Edwards by KO, but again, Fabian Edwards is minus 500. So that's why I'm trying to decide between Saul at minus 400 and Fabian at minus 500. Which one's going into parlay? Gross.
In my opinion, I would take Fabian Edwards. His brother just won the championship. I think he's in a really good place right now. Obviously, training with his brother day in, day out. 6-2 in Bellator. He just got the biggest win in his career against Lyoto Machida. He's fought Austin Vanderford. Remember, he cut him up really bad. If that was a 5-round fight, he might have actually won that.
Good comment here from UFC betting experience too.
By the old BJJ. Oh yeah, and he's not even a striker. Who did he lose to? Alan Carlos.
Well, he struggled to a decision with Alan Carlos at minus 600 favorite.
Yeah, he 30-25'd him too.
Yeah,
and Carlos missed weight in that fight, and Charlie Ward's going to try to take him down. I think Fabian's going to keep this on the feet. He's 12 years younger, actually. This is Bellator's just feeding Fabian Edwards an opponent he can beat here. And
Yeah, if you can put away Lyoto Machida, you're going to put away Charlie Ward, right?
even if he doesn't put him away, I think he'll win on the scorecards, just keeping it on the feet, outstriking him.
Okay.
And
Fine.
he has lost by 3 knockouts. Charlie Ward, John Phillips, Al Hassan, Galore Bofondo, like you said, by slam. And yeah. So obviously he can get knocked out here. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
8 knockouts for Fabian as an amateur too.
So my 3-fight parlay is going to get you to about even money, but Simon Biong, Davy Galan, and Fabian Edwards. That is my 3-fight parlay for this card.
I thought you were doing a 5-fight parlay.
We'll see. John just asked for a 3-fight, so I gave a 3-fight.
Okay. You got a 3-fighter.
I don't know if I can find a 5-fight on this one, man. You got to be selective on this card. But really good main event here. Adam Piccolotti taking on the newcomer, but a guy who I've had my eye on for quite some time now. I've been waiting for him to make his debut in one of the bigger organizations from Road FC, Mansour, a Barnaoui here taking on Adam Piccolotti. This is a really good fight. Very good matchup here, Mansour. Very, very interesting prospect here. 6 foot tall, known as the Afro Samurai, now known as Tarzan, for good reason. He does like to work in the clinch and use his long arms and limbs for grappling. Gets him into some really unique positions. To win the $1 million with Road FC, he got like a side naked choke, I'd almost call it, where he had a body triangle locked in. Looked like his opponent was slipping off to the side, but because of his length and his just legit squeeze, his opponent tapped when it looked like his opponent was almost out of the choke, but just able to keep really unique angles with his length. Good in the clinch, good striker as well. Keeps a good pace throughout. The Shamil Zavarov fight. Zavarov is one of Khabib's best friends, Khabib's training partners. Zavarov went into that fight, got a ton of takedowns, but you can go and look up Mansour's sweeps, and he has just the sweep he puts on in a ton of his fights where he gets into half guard, sweeps his opponent, swept his opponent over and over again, uses it to get to the feet, uses it to get to his own grappling situations. And Adam Piccolotti is just going to put himself, I think, in a lot of positions that Mansour is very comfortable with. Adam Piccolotti is going to come out and really look to use the boxing to set up the takedowns like he usually does. When he has the advantage in the grappling, he's able to put his opponents away. But when his opponents also have grappling, he struggles with those opponents. I think he's going to get the takedowns early because I don't think Mansour is necessarily going to be fighting to keep it off the ground. I think Mansour could sweep him, have his own success from the top, also could possibly have some ground and pound and grappling opportunities himself. But yeah, Mansour, he's been really tested. Good level of competition throughout Road and just looking better and better. Went the distance with Gamrot in a really competitive fight as well back in the day. We now see how good Gamrot is. I get Gamrot's come a long way, but still, that's the level that Mansour's fighting against and losing to. Went distance with Kevin Lee, went the distance with Islam Makhachev. Put away Colin Fletcher very early on in their fight back when Colin Fletcher was much more of a legitimate opponent. I've really been impressed with this guy's road. It's a long time coming for him to be here. He's been off because of the pandemic the last couple of years, so I'm really excited to see the improvements coming. Adam Piccolotti, I'll be honest, I think he's just okay. Like he's pretty good, I'll say. I don't want to say okay. He's pretty good, but I just don't think there's anything that particularly.
He's meat and potatoes.
He doesn't particularly stand out to me. And you look at the people he's beating, Georgie Karakarian. What does that mean in 2022? I'm not really sure. Lost a split to Sydney Outlaw. That kind of is a huge concern to me. That's a guy who I think you should be handling as a pretty heavy wrestler, and he just didn't. And I rate Barnaoui higher than that. Lost to Benson Henderson by a split. Beating guys like Jake Smith, James Terry, Carrington Banks. Lost to David Rickles back in the day. Lost to Goti Yamauchi, another guy who he took him down, was the less of the grappler, and therefore, And then, this is the problem with Mansour. The line's been steamed at this point. I think a lot of people are putting together the dots. I am that Mansour being off for the time, I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. We could see some improvements, and just overall, it's a bad matchup for Piccolotti and how Piccolotti wants to win this fight. Piccolotti is probably going to put himself in the position that eventually gets him finished on the ground, in my opinion, by leading the takedown. So I like Mansour in this spot. I also think Mansour is a better striker. I just think Mansour is better.
Yeah,
Maybe
I'll be honest, I've never seen Mansour fight, but he has a very impressive record. He's been off for 3 years, like you said, because of COVID. He's 6-0 in Road FC. That's why I never watched Road FC. He went 1-1 in KSW in 2016, so that was 6 years ago. 2-2 in M1 Challenge. This was like 10 years ago though, or 8 years ago. Yeah, man, he looks really good on paper. 6 knockouts, 12 submissions, 10 rear naked chokes. He's only lost to the best of the best. Like you said, you already named them off. He's a true finisher. 18 out of 19 of his wins, all finishes. 10 in round 1, 4 in round 2, 4 in round 3. I love seeing that too.
Yep. He's good, man.
Anytime the play takes place, he's won as a minus 405. He's won as a minus 225. The bookmakers know this guy's good as well. I'm excited to see him fight. I just question this main event. This is more like a co-main event type of fight. But
I think they're trying to launch Mansour.
Yeah, probably put him in the big show main event. It's gonna
casuals don't know who he is at all. You're not putting a 34 Adam Piccolotti in the main event here to win.
Yeah, it might go viral if he gets like a quick submission or something,
like a ninja choke, some sort of slick choke. I agree.
Yeah, and Piccolotti does have an Italian background. He's really excited to perform in front of the Italian crowd. But yeah, like you said, Adam Piccolotti is going to go for takedowns, and that's going to lead right into Mansour's game. So
that sweep he has, you can literally, if you type it on YouTube, Mansour Barnaoui sweep, there is a full video of all the sweep he does for about 6 minutes.
Yeah.
So Adam comes out of a very good
camp. Does a similar sweep.
Right. So Adam comes out of a very good camp. Adam's going to be ready for what Mansour has available.
American Kickboxing Academy. Yeah,
exactly. So that's the thing I'll say here. I'm not trying to sound like I'm completely
the layoff too.
Right. I'm not trying to sound like I'm completely writing off Adam Piccolotti here. I think Piccolotti could be a really live dog as well. But and
this is 5 rounds.
Right. Exactly. I'm going to believe the hype here in Mansour. Mansour is a minus 140 favorite, plus 120 on Adam Piccolotti. And the line is getting steamed there as well. Really quick before we go, we'll do our quick picks, and I will also include 2 more fights on the 5-fight parlay here as well. And then we will take off here, but not bad. 18 fights in an hour and a half. Pretty good stuff here. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We're in double digits again. Shout out to Haka, who was here before things even started. He was ready to go, and he stayed throughout. Moise, UFC betting experience. Ironically, I most of the time see UFC betting experience during non-UFC fights. So it's kind of funny there. But starting at the bottom, we'll just go back and forth, and then I'll give my 5-fight parlay at the end. Alex Bertinazzi versus Eduardo Chiazza. Give me Alex Bertinazzi, not only because I can say his name, but I think he's more well-rounded by decision.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm taking Alex Bertinazzi.
Yep, we don't have odds on the first 3 fights, by the way, but next fight, Sharif Bapape is going to be a massive underdog to the debuting Ayub Nasser. Ayub Nasser, ground and pound.
Yeah, I'll take the fighter with the full camp here, Ayub Nasser. Yeah, probably first round.
Next one of the 3 short notice add-ons, the best one, I believe, Percy Herrera versus Luca Iovine. This is a good fight. It's very close, but I'll go with Percy here, and I'll take him by submission.
Yeah, this should be a slugfest while it lasts. And, somebody's getting finished. I think Bellator's more on board with Percy, but Luca could be a live dog here. Luca should be the underdog. I'm going to go dog or pass, and so I'm going to take Luca.
Fair enough. At 205, Oleg Popov versus Denis Stosniak. I've got Oleg Popov here. Probably puts him away in the first round.
Yeah, Oleg Popov, the Russian, 15-1. I'm definitely taking him. I already have him in parlays. He's a lot younger, but Denis Stoshnik, tough out. I'm going to say a unanimous decision for Popov.
Yep, fair enough. Next one, Saravdozov Kakamedov versus Jose Maria Tomei. I got Kakamedov by finish early on. I just think he puts away Tomei.
Yeah, Tomei's 50th professional fight. No stranger to the game, but Kamedov, up and comer, so much younger. From Tajikistan, I like what I see, and yeah, I don't know if he puts Tomei out, but I'll put Kamedov in some parlays.
Yep, first on the 5-fight parlay, Kamedov. Stephen Hill versus Fusey here. I got Stephen Hill getting the finish, but nervous about this one for the price.
Yeah, short notice, Fusey, Italian fighter, but I'll take the undefeated 5-0 Stephen Hill from England. And yeah, the odds are pretty heavy though, eh?
Yep, same with this next one, Luke Trainer versus Lucas Alcina. I think Luke Trainer's learned from his mistakes here. I think he gets an early finish. I think Luke's motivated here. So Luke, first round finish for me, but this could get really greasy.
Oh yeah. If Luke lays an egg again, like I can never trust him. Like,
Yeah,
but he's a great guy, man. I've heard him in interviews. He's just a good guy, good character, and I think Bellator wants him to win. Argentinian coming all the way from his country to Italy.
Yep. Quick picks. Nicolo Solili versus Barama Kamara here. This is a good one. Nicolo definitely has a route. I think he's got crowd and pressure, but I like Kamara by first round finish, actually.
Okay. Soli, it is going to be a dangerous round one, but I like Soli to evade the danger and end up getting a decision win or a late finish.
Fair enough. Simon Biong versus Dragos Zubico. I got Simon Biong better rounded, more experience, capitalizing off the momentum of the last fight.
Absolutely, yeah. This is probably one of my most confident picks on this card, Simon Biong.
Yep, second on there with Kadamov there. Yves Landau versus Walter Cogliandro. Very good fight here. I think battle clash of styles. Walter's grinding style edges it out in a split decision. Close one.
I'll take the breakdancer Yves Landau to do his thing.
Fair enough. Next one, least confident pick on the card. Chiara Penko I have over Manuela Maraconeto, but I think it's close decision for Chiara.
Yeah, I'll take the more experienced fighter, but this could definitely be a split decision. I don't like the odds, so yeah.
Yeah, another close one here, Thiago Guti versus Alfie Davis. Another one where I think it's a clash of styles. I like Guti to crack the pressure and be able to edge out the decision here.
Yeah, we differ on this one. I got Alfie Davis to keep it on the feet and edge out a decision.
Fair enough. I know we differ on this one because I'm buying into the young Polak Kamil Oneshuk to get a KO here. I just think he's going to catch Costello coming back a little bit rusty off of a couple years ago. So Kamil by KO.
Oh, the dog agrees. He's an underdog too, right?
Yep. He's barking for the dogs.
But this is probably the hardest to pick on the card for me. One of them. I've never really seen Onishchuk fight. I'll go Costello, but I'm not going to bet on that fight.
Fair enough. Next one, featured prelim, Davy Galan versus Daniel Scatizzi. Galan's going to cost me a lot if he loses because I'm putting him in the parlay. He's one of my most confident. Third on the parlay, Davy Galan. And I like them to just win a decision. I just think he's going to pressure Daniele throughout and just stifle his game plan. So third in the parlay is Davy Galan.
Yeah, my initial pick was David Galan. I'm going to stick with it, but everybody always doubts Scatizzi, and he finds a way to get that W. So it's I'm a little scared about this one, but I do have David Galan.
Yeah, I think the next few are closer than some may think, but Justin Gonzalez versus Andrew Fisher, close one, very Another one, I would go with the split decision prop, but Andrew Fisher is my pick. I'm just going to edge out the decision here for me.
Yeah, I'm going to take the young buck and Justin Gonzalez. I'm just
Fair
worried
enough.
about the travel. But
Justin
yeah,
Gonzalez is 31, by the way.
but
The
Andrew
young,
Fisher 37. That's why. I guess the younger fighter. I should be saying the younger fighter.
yeah.
The fighter.
Yeah, Justin does have a very youthful demeanor to him, so I was surprised when I say he's 31. Next fight, Val of 32 and 35, and Saul Rogers versus Tim Wild. Saul Rogers, I've got to use his grappling and just smarter in this fight and wins it, but could be a greasy one for Wild.
Yeah, for sure, man. Saul Rogers has all the tools to win this fight. He really should win it, but it's going to be a tough out. But he should get the W at the end of the day.
Yeah, this price is going to keep him out of the parlay for me. Fabian Edwards, I have finishing Charlie Ward round 1.
Yeah, one of my most confident picks, the brother of the champion, Leon Edwards, to get a probably a round 1 knockout.
Yep, he is on there. So Saul Rogers and Fabian Edwards will be 4 and 5 for the 5-piece parlay. And then Mansour Barnaoui, I believe, kicks open the door and lets everybody know he's a star. I think he gets a finish here over Adam Piccolotti.
Yeah, this is a tough fight to pick, but I like Mansour. Like on paper,
he up really well with him. I think.
What were you saying?
I think he matches up really well with him. I agree.
Yeah, and Piccolotti, Italian background. It's going to be the crowd's going to are in for a treat for this fight.
Yep, but that is going to do it for the 18-fight breakdown here. Quick Picks took a little bit longer than usual there. Quick Picks just took about 5-6 minutes.
Fights, that's why.
Yeah, it's 18 fights and a little more information. Never hurt anybody. But that's going to do it for the breakdowns for this week. UFC breakdown already on the channel. It's a good Saturday of MMA for everybody. With this starting at 12:30 on YouTube. There'll probably be some post limbs as well, and then UFC as well. So best of luck, everybody. Brandon, just let everybody know where to find you.
Yeah, hit me up on Facebook, Brandon Piper. You'll see the MMA Wagers profile picture. And thanks a lot for having me, Aaron. We got a busy week next week. I think there's LFA, there's Cage Warriors, there's a UFC. So,
3 breakdowns.
We could have breakdowns for all 3 of those.
Yep, there definitely will be. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the love. Chat was awesome today, as always. Brandon, appreciate you. Good luck on Saturday, everybody, and we'll see you next week for the breakdowns. Peace.
Take care, everybody.